Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back to another video of the Baby Back Rib Show. And guys, today is an excellent day. We're about midway through the season, and I'm going to come at you guys today with some power rankings. I haven't done a power rankings video in a while, so I'm excited to do that again. We're going to do our updated starting quarterback rankings and our updated starting wide receiver rankings. Super excited for that. Both of those videos are also coming later today, so keep your eyes peeled for that. But let's hop into some power rankings here. And the last time I did one of these videos, it was week 4. Things have definitely changed. The one thing that hasn't changed is the Chiefs are still number 1 at 7-0. You can't argue with that. Definitely the most complete team, but there is another team. In fact, it's the team that's coming in at second that I think could be even more complete or giving them a run for their money so far this season, and that is the Detroit Lions coming in at number 2, rising up one spot on this list. And with how dominant they've looked in their wins, the team coming in at number 3 despite an embarrassing loss last week, it definitely felt like a trap game. Jameis Winston magic, whatever you want to call it, but I'm putting the Ravens in at number 3, and I still do think they are a Super Bowl worthy team. But all 3 of these teams right here are so complete, so good, and I'm excited to watch the playoffs this year. Coming in at number 4, I'm going to drop it down a tier here. I have the Green Bay Packers, who actually rose up one spot. By the way, the Ravens dropped a spot. They were at second, but with the loss to the Browns and the Lions looking dominant, I did switch them. But the Packers come in at number 4, rising up one spot with their win against Jacksonville. I think they are an NFC Championship team, caliber team right now, but I don't know if we're going to see them in the Super Bowl. The Philadelphia Eagles come in at number 5, and I'm going to put them right behind the Packers. They did rise up 2 spots with their dominating victory against the Bengals. And then coming in at number 6, we have the Houston Texans, who have just been so quiet. Whoops. My computer's tripping. So the Texans have been quietly one of the best teams in the league. At 6-2, it just hasn't been super flashy over there, but they are getting it done. They did rise up 2 spots, by the way, and the Buffalo Bills also rising up 2 spots, come in at number 7, and they have been looking so good since getting Amari Cooper, even though he didn't have a good game against Seattle. Still opened up a lot of opportunity for Khalil Shakir and all those guys, so still making a big impact. And then coming in at number 8, we have a team that has also been looking a lot better. And I'm actually, with how good Russell Wilson's been looking, I'm actually putting this team, coming from a Ravens fan, in the NFC Championship, AFC Championship loss tier. This team can make it to the AFC Championship. They look so complete, such an amazing defense. And Russell Wilson's been looking good. He's been looking, you know the word. Coming in at number 9, we have a team that dropped 3 spots despite winning against the Buccaneers. There's just a lot of teams that have been looking more dominant. I'm going to put the Atlanta Falcons here in playoff win. I'm dropping them down to the next tier in playoff win here. Beat the Buccaneers, although I think that was an expected victory there. But the Falcons do look good. I think if you, like I said in the podcast yesterday, I think that if the Falcons don't lose to the Seahawks, they are looked at as a much more dominant team, but that was just such a weird loss. And then the Los Angeles Rams come in at number 10, rising up 11 spots, my biggest riser for this week, with their very, very, very solid victory against the Minnesota Vikings on Thursday night. Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua both back in the same game, and they looked fantastic. Matthew Stafford looked a lot better, but the Rams do come in to round out our top 10 here. And coming in at number 11, we have the team that they just beat, the Minnesota Vikings, who dropped 7 spots since last week with their loss, their second loss in a row as well. But I still think they are a playoff win team despite losing Christian Darrisaw. Coming in at number 12, we have the Washington Commanders, who actually dropped just one spot. They did have the victory against the Chicago Bears. They did have the Hail Mary, but that's just it. They were going to lose that game 15-12, and with that miraculous play, they did end up winning, but they didn't look super good in that game. Coming in at number 13, we have the San Francisco 49ers, who just got to 500 and looked pretty good against Dallas. I mean, they own Dallas at this point, but a win is a win, and they are back at 500. Coming in at number 14, we have a team. They also rose up 2 spots, by the way. We have a team that also had, well, not also, but they did have a surprising victory. They also just got back to 500. And a team that's looking a lot better than people expected. My co-host is very happy that they are looking better than expected, but a team that rose up 6 spots, that's going to be the Arizona Cardinals, who, looking at the rest of their, oh my gosh, I'm sorry, my computer is freaking boof right now. This is a team that has looked a lot better than expected, and looking at the rest of their schedule, I could see them sneaking into the playoffs, so I'm putting them in the playoff loss tier. Can't believe I'm doing that. That's the first time all year, probably the first time in 2 or 3 years that I've done that, but the Arizona Cardinals do go there. And then coming in at number 15, we have a divisional opponent in the Seattle Seahawks, who I'm throwing in the playoff loss tier as well. I could see them sneaking in, but I don't see them going far whatsoever. And then coming in at number 16, if this team gets Mike Evans back, they could somehow get a wild card spot, but I could see them being 8th or 9th in the conference this year, unfortunately, without Chris Godwin if Mike Evans misses a lot of time. Coming in at number 17, I do actually think this team has a good chance to make the playoffs. That's the Denver Broncos, who dropped a spot. By the way, hold on, let me backtrack. Sorry. The Seahawks did drop 3 spots, and the Buccaneers also dropped 3 spots. The Broncos dropped a spot, but still looked really good against the Panthers. And then coming in at number 18, another team I could see sneaking into the playoffs, that's going to be the Chicago Bears, who are currently 4-3, so they still are above 500, and they did actually jump up 1 spot. But this defense looks for real. We're going to drop down a tier to miss playoffs but isn't terrible, and I'm going to start off that tier with a team that rose up 9 spots with their surprise victory on Sunday and look like they have a much better chance to win with a certain guy in at quarterback. That's going to be the Cleveland Browns, coming in at number 19. Don't think they're making the playoffs. I think it's too late. Maybe if you started Jameis earlier, this team could be in the playoffs, but I still think that they're going to be like a more 500 team this year with Jameis Winston. Coming in at number 20, we have a team that just changed their quarterback as well, in the Indianapolis Colts, they're going to start with Joe Flacco and completely ruin Anthony Richardson's confidence, but whatever. I will always take more Joe Flacco football. They are 4-4 right now, but they did drop 6 spots on the power rankings, and they will go in right behind the Cleveland Browns. Let's see here. The Dallas Cowboys come in at 21. They are now below 500. It is not looking good in Dallas. I don't think they're making the playoffs this year. They are definitely going to be an 8 and 9 team. And they did drop 4 spots with their loss against San Francisco. And then coming in at number 22, wow, what a surprise the Bengals have been. We know they start off year slow, but it is midseason, and they still look like they're in week 2 form. This defense is awful. Offense might be able to win some games, but I actually, in a tough AFC, I don't think the Bengals are making the playoffs, which is crazy to say. They are 3-5 right now. They dropped 4 spots with their loss against Philadelphia. 0-4 at home, might I add. Coming in at number 23, we have the LA Chargers, who I also think is going to be a 500 team, but I don't think they're going to make the playoffs this year. It is just a very competitive AFC, and they did drop 1 spot. They are currently at 4-3, but they did have a nice win against the New Orleans Saints. And then coming in at number 24, we have the Miami Dolphins, who just lost against the Arizona Cardinals, and depending on what they do, which I don't think they're going to end up doing this, I think they should bench Tua. They are 2-5. I don't think they're making the playoffs in a competitive AFC, but I say, if they do end up benching Tua and looking to next year, then this team is in the missed playoffs is terrible tier. But if this team just decides, they could even be a number one draft pick contender tier, honestly. But I feel like they're going to ride to a pause for the rest of the year. So I'm going to throw them in the missed playoffs, but isn't terrible tier. Coming in at number 25, and we're going to go ahead and drop it a tier, we have the Las Vegas Raiders, who dropped 2 spots. By the way, the Miami Dolphins stayed exactly where they were at last week. But the Raiders actually made the game close. It was a 7-point game against the Kansas City Chiefs. But they are 2-6. They still dropped 2 spots in the loss. And then coming in at number 26, we have the New York Giants, who rose up 1 spot on our rankings. And honestly, like, this team has been making games a lot closer than we expected. Almost all of their losses, well, most of their losses have been close against decent teams. So they haven't looked like the worst team in the league, but they're still not good by any means. But they go in right behind the Raiders, rising up actually 1 spot with their close loss against Pittsburgh. And then coming in at number 27, we have a team who's also 2-6, who also has been looking like not that horrible. We have the Jacksonville Jaguars, who rose up 2 spots. And then coming in at number 28, the New Orleans Saints, who benched Spencer Rattler. They have Jake Haener in there, who didn't look any better. It's rough in New Orleans right now. They've lost 6 straight, and one of the bottom feeders for a team that we thought was going to be a breakout team this year. But they're going to go in right behind, because I think once Derek Carr comes back, they'll win a couple games, but they're still going to be bad. So I'm putting them right behind the Jacksonville Jaguars. And then I think this is where we cut the. Oh man, I have a certain team at 30. I think you guys can see with the teams that are remaining down there. But I'm really low on them because I don't know how they had this most recent loss. But I'm going to throw the Patriots in at number 29, who just had their second victory of the season, their second surprise victory of the season. They are 2-6, and they rose up 1 spot with their victory. And then coming in at number 30, we have a team that should be nowhere near this spot, the New York Jets, who just lost to the Patriots on Sunday. They are 2-6 right now. They did drop 5 spots, one of our bigger droppers of this week. But yeah, no excuses for the Jets. They should not be this low, but I'm putting them this low. They have no reason to be any higher, in my opinion. But then dropping down to the 2 teams I think are going to compete for the number 1 pick this year. It's going to be a crazy competition. Dwayne Rock versus John Cena for this number 1 pick. But I do have the Carolina Panthers a little bit better, coming in at number 31 at 1-7. And then the Tennessee Titans, I think, are the worst team in the league right now at 32 at 1-6. Let me know what you guys think. Where would you guys move these teams? I might be way too low on some of these teams. I might be way too harsh, but results are results. And for teams like the Jets and the Bengals, they just haven't done enough to show that they should be any higher to me, in my opinion. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. Who's your number 1 team? Is it still the Chiefs, or are the Lions looking better? Because honestly, I think the Lions are looking better. I need one more week to put them above them. But anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for being here. Make sure to subscribe if you guys haven't already. And like I said, 2 more videos coming your way. Thank you.